Get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Timer's ticking. Last chance to hit those likes. Let's get the party started.
Yo, good morning, suckers. What's going on, guys? Yes, I called you a sucker. Why did I call you a sucker? Because you guys think Cheetos are the best cheesy snack. That's why. You guys are a bunch of suckers. You know what I'm saying? Good morning, guys. Good morning. Let's jump into the charts here. I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning as we look to see what, we can talk Bitcoin all we want, but the big thing we're going to talk about today is the stock market's looking to hold that 200-week moving average for the rest of this week. That's a big deal, like we talked about multiple different times. That is really the big deal as we sort of wait for the CPI to come out on Friday, man. So cheers. Let's freaking get busy. We got the Ethereum mug going on here, my guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, my wife, and this is your wife. Probably with the same body shape as well. Okay, so let's jump onto the charts, man. 19,135. The first thing I did today is I opened my my phone and I always check the price, right? We always check the price when we wake up in the morning. What did Jordan see? Well, he saw 19K, just like Mike said, man, in the chat. I open up my phone, I see 19K, I go, okay, nothing's really changed as far as Bitcoin in the short term. And as long as I see 19K on my phone, whenever I wake up, I know that nothing has changed. And then what I do, I open up Twitter, I open up Reddit, see what people are freaking out about. Oh my God, Bitcoin's at support. Everyone freaking out again for the 7th time. Just like when Bitcoin's at resistance, everyone getting pumped. It is what it is. And that's kind of the daily routine at the current moment. And Bitcoin still finds itself in our little consolidation period, right? Between 20,400 and 18,400. So what can we do? We can sit back, we can drink some coffee, and we can at least try to trade this chop while we're in here and have a little fun. Holy moly, man. We can at least try to trade this chop where, I mean, we sort of talk about it, guys. I mean, the move has been, if you're sort of a swing trader, is longing whenever Bitcoin comes to this green box back down here towards 18,600 to 18,400, or going short when Bitcoin comes back up here towards the 20,400 to $20,200 range. That's really been the move. Other than that, I mean, altcoins had some good setups yesterday, which were pretty nice. But, man, as Mike just said in the chat, everyone was freaking out yesterday. But when you really look at the chart, Bitcoin just seems to be sitting right in the middle of this freaking range, right? And it's coiling up, like we said, man.
Nothing has changed.
Right? Say it again, Savvy, for everyone in the back. Say it one more time for everyone in the back that's sitting back over here, man.
Nothing has changed.
Neil, they eat a half a mozzarella stick. They leave it in the car. Boom, cheese jerky. Cheese jerky. That sounds pretty freaking good. I would eat some cheese jerky. I love mozzarella sticks. I don't know about you guys, but mozzarella sticks, I would argue, are underrated. I never eat them because they don't really offer any nutritional value. But I don't always eat everything with nutritional value. Like last night I had Ben & Jerry's ice cream. That has pretty much no nutritional value. But, you know, mozzarella sticks are completely underrated when it comes to food. I would definitely agree with that, man. Crab market, nothing has changed, Scotty Swing. I agree, man. I agree. So now we wait, right? Now we're sitting right at a support level that we try to hold a couple different times, guys. Let's zoom out real quick on the shorter term time frame. So Bitcoin finds itself at support. You know, we bounce from this region September 29th. We bounce from this region October 2nd. And we find ourselves right back in that region again. The question is, will it hold? That is also the 0.618 Fibonacci on some of these zoomed out time frames where we've bounced, like we said, 3 times off this 0.618 Fibonacci. The one problem I do see with Bitcoin is in this current time frame, guys, is we did break this upward sloping trend line, which I wanted to see hold. Now, if you look at it, technically speaking, we're still holding the higher lows. We as of right now, still have held a higher low from that previous low, albeit it's a centimeter, man. It's very, very close, but we did break this upward sloping trend line. The last way we could really draw this, and it looks, you know, if you zoom in here, it does look as though Bitcoin has broken. Well, let's do this. Bitcoin has broken this, and it has came back up to retest. Is this just gonna be that retest before it gets that continuation back down to the downside? We look at the 1 hour chart. Let's see what we got here. Are we forming some type of bear flag here where we're getting higher lows, higher highs in this upward sloping channel? Are we going to see that have a continuation and a retest back down to lows? We'll see. The invalidation obviously is that Bitcoin can get a move back above this level, and this is sort of a deviation play, and Bitcoin can get back above this yellow upward sloping trend line. That would be invalidation for the bulls, but right now we did break that trend line. So man, the one sort of hopium we're looking at to get out of this freaking range, at least for the moment, which was like this ascending triangle, looks to have broken to the downside. So once again, we'll see what happens. We'll see if Bitcoin has enough juice to get back in. But the big thing that we got to watch today is obviously the S&P 500, which we've talked about consistently, guys. If the S&P is going to break this 200-week moving average, we're looking at where it's sitting right now. It is sitting right on top of that 200-week moving average. And we look at the past, and whenever this is broken, it has been ugly, 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 ugly sauce. Ugly sauce for the S&P, right? We've looked at it, man, right? Let's go back in it. March of 2020, we broke the S&P 500 on the 200 week. We crashed to the downside, right? We held it right here in 2018. We held it right here in 2016. Let me zoom out. I guess I can't zoom out, but ignore it. We broke it slightly, but we pretty much held it in 2011. We broke it here in 2008. Obviously, that was a shit show, right? We remember all these times, man. We held it here in 2004. We broke it in the early 2000s, right here. That was a shit show, all right? So This has been a pretty good indicator on, is the S&P going to go lower or is it not? This has been a pretty good indicator for the past, right? So we're sitting right on top of that. Again, same as last week, you know. The question here is, guys, it is Tuesday, right? So far this week we've had Monday and Tuesday. Are we going to see the tides turn, you know, going into tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Are we going to see the tides turn and start going back the other way going to the end of this week, right? We zoom in a little bit on the daily. Here's where we're sitting, man. This is getting juicy. Look at the S&P sitting right at support. So we can look at the Bitcoin charts all we want, but we're literally about to test the lows on the S&P. Will it hold, my friends? Let's find out. Let's find out. The DXY also popping up back to 115. Let's take a sweet of the sweet nectar. The sweet nectar of victory. You guys seen that Julian Edelman saying? The sweet nectar of victory. The DXY also popping back up like a hot potato, coming back up to 115. I think the hope for a lot of people, and this might be a little bit of hopium, the hope for a lot of people here is the DXY coming up for that double top. But guys, let's be honest here.
Rant alert.
Let's be honest here, okay? How many times have we heard DXY gonna double top? DXY forming a double top. I feel like I've heard that from a freaking parrot 18 times this year, right? Double top, double top, double top. I've said it myself. And I'm not gonna make the same mistake as saying, all right, DXY is gonna make a double top here, because every time you've said that, you've gotten wrecked. Okay? Now, the one hopium for the bulls, okay, or if you think this is going to top out again at 115, is obviously this upward sloping trend line, which has really held since 2008, where we got a double top in 2008, we got a double top in 2015 and 2016, and we are coming back up to that range again as we speak. We've already wicked up and got rejected. Are we going to get rejected from there again? Obviously, time will tell. You know, I think betting against the DXY sort of at the moment is a little bit of a fool's errand. Like betting against it, like, holy shit, this thing can't go up, right? There's no way it can go up higher. Listen, man, there's no reason it can't go up higher. So let's see what happens, but this is also coming back up. Let me actually check what's going on here. Bathwater said no tide if the ocean is drained. No tide if the ocean's drained, man. The ocean's slowly getting drained. I guess you could say the ocean's slowly getting drained. I mean, the more times Bitcoin tests support, the more likely it's break. But to say to the upside, the same thing. The more time Bitcoin is to test the resistance, the more likely it is to break. It's just a question of right now of which side is going to break that tide first. Because the tide's getting drained, right? Both sides are getting drained. Bulls are getting drained. Bears are getting drained. Which side is going to break first? Okay? Because like we said, guys, the price is getting tight. The price is getting coiled up is my favorite word. I love the word coiled up. The price is just getting coiled up in this range where you've got this downward sloping resistance line coming down hot and heavy, and you've got support coming across. Something's got to give by the end of October, man. And this is sort of what we've been saying forever is something's got to give right here. What's going to give? We'll find out. And there's certainly a possibility that we get to the end of this and Bitcoin just starts going whoop, 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 and just continues to go sideways. I mean, absolutely. Listen, like that's been the market for the last month. The most troll thing Bitcoin would do is always have a fake breakout to the downside, fake breakout to the upside, and just go and just stay in this region forever, forever. Right?
Everybody panic. We're going to zero.
While both sides just sort of do their thing. Volume dropping off a cliff. All right, we can see the volume is, let's bring this on the daily real quick. You guys can see volume is falling off a freaking cliff here. When the volume falls off a cliff and you're getting tight inside of a range, you know a big volatile move is coming. And to be fair, guys, Bitcoin really hasn't gone this sideways, right? Bitcoin hasn't gone this sideways. How long has it been going sideways? I'd argue from like right here. Bitcoin's pretty much, albeit a little bit of move up in sort of August, but pretty much gone sideways for 120 days. So we're talking 4 months of sideways. how many times have Bitcoin gone sideways for 4 months? Well, I think right here, it was about 4 months. You could argue it went sideways for December to about May. Yeah, December to about April. So this was actually about 4 months of sideways here. You know, give or take where you want to take it from. But yeah, that was about 4 months. But it doesn't tend to go sideways longer than that for very often, right? May to July, that was about 3 months last year. There was times in the past, like before a big massive move, right? This was like a month. Right? There hasn't been that many times. Right here in May of 2020, went sideways for about 2 months. That was really nothing. Man, it hasn't gone sideways like this for too long. Let's see. Right here was about 4 months. I mean, you could argue 2019. And then obviously everyone's going to point to right here. Let's go back like this. Let's zoom back over here. I think this is the chart I have. Yes. Everyone's going to point to over here and say, okay, Jerome, we went sideways forever over here. I mean, this is a little bit more volatile. I would argue really this was a pretty big move, right? But, man, I mean, you could argue this one went sideways for 280 days, which, you know, is what we said, 7 months? So we shall see, man. We shall see. Let's go back to BTC. Oh, BTC is breaking down, man. As I'm sort of rambling here. Here we go. Let's get that move down, man. Let's give us some price action. 18,971. Bitcoin did just break down from that little bear flag. Let's see what we got going on here, man. 19,905. Here we go, guys. So far that breakdown is looking like it wants to play out. Let's see what we got here, guys. Nice pullback now. It's a nice one, dude. So we got upward sloping trend line that did break to the downside. We did come up and back test. And now we did get that rejection and are looking to continuation down after breaking the upward sloping trend line. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's check the stock market, see what they're doing. They are actually holding up as of now. The S&P on this chart. Okay, so on the non-futures chart, we're actually breaking the lows. Right? So futures chart, we're still holding the lows. Non-futures, we're actually breaking the lows. I think the NASDAQ is already below those lows. So NASDAQ breaking down, and we got the S&P also breaking down to the lows right now. And I'm sure you got the DXY coming up just a tad. Yep, DXY coming up too. So you got everything's kind of correlated right now, right? S&P coming down, NASDAQ coming down, DXY going up, Bitcoin going down. And yeah, everything else in between, man. The 10-year, let's look at the 10-year real quick. The 10-year is at 3.95. The 10-year is going nuts to the upside right now. I mean, we zoom out on the 10-year yields. These things, I mean, looking at where it is now, I mean, we've topped out a few times at that level, but we're going to be seeing like 531 on the 10-year yields. We'll find out. This is going nuts. And this is sort of like the DXY. As this continues up, as this continues up, and it's getting pretty parabolic, you know what I'm saying? As this continues up, as the DXY continues up, stocks are going to continue down, Bitcoin's going to continue down, or at least holding the ranges like it's been, you know? So, yeah, 10-year yield going up. What we're hoping for is the VIX, right? And this is what we talked about yesterday, guys. Every bear market bottom for the stock market has been marked by the S&P having some crazy volatility. This is the VIX, which is the volatility on the S&P 500. Every bear market low has been when the VIX wicks up to right about this, you could argue right about the 50 level, right? This is obviously 2020. This is 2018. This is 2015, right? This is obviously 2008. And this is the early 2000s over here, which also wicked up to that box. So you guys can see that's coming up right now, right? And the question is, are we going to see that big capitulation candle coming in on the S&P, seeing the wick spike up, and that can sort of mark the lows? Let's find out, right? I would say in this, if this is going to play out like every single time it has last time, I would prefer it just does it now and not drag its feet for, another month and just go sideways for another month. Let's just do it now, man. Holy moly, man. Holy frickin' moly. And to be fair, it does look like some of these are breaking the lows, right? S&P breaking the lows. S&P futures right at the lows. NASDAQ breaking the lows. DXY coming up. US 10-year yields coming up. And Bitcoin also coming down. We're looking at 786 Fibonacci right now is at 18.6 for BTC. 18,600 is that 786 Fib. Clint, thank you, man. Clint, I learned it from you, man. I learned it from you. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I mean, there's really no volatility in the market. That's why you're seeing this down here. But I'm hoping for a spike up on this, man. We get a spike up on this, we start getting back into this red box or above. I think there's a good chance that we can start seriously talking about, the opposite side of the spectrum, which is, are we going to start seeing those more volatile moves to the upside rather than the short little stupid bear market rallies that we've been looking for, right? We'll find out. We'll find out. Mod chat. It's the mod chat, man. Let's see. BTC dumping. This market makes me zzz. Me too, man. Me too. Me too, man. And you guys know I've been thinking about just going back to one stream a day until the market starts to pick up, because at least we're getting some price action right now. But most of the days it's like, all right, let's stock Bitcoin. We're at 19K again. It is what it is. So yeah, this is kind of what we're watching for today, guys. I mean, we check out ETH. ETH is back into our green box of support. I mean, we sort of look at what's happened in the past, but let's go to like the 8-hour on ETH, give us a little bit better direction. We're looking for ETH to hold this upward sloping trend line. At the very least, that one also broke down to the downside yesterday, but this one broke to the downside overnight last night. So here comes Ethereum back down to the downside. The question is, like we've done once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, right now, to me, you could go short right now. But what do we always like to say, guys? The best time to go short is at resistance. The best time to go long is at support. Okay? So yes, could Ethereum just dump straight through here and create new lows on the local time frames? Absolutely, it can. It can. But you got to play the percentages. The best time to go long is at support. I'm not going to say you guys do what you want to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But Ethereum's bounced from this level once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Here we are. Find ourselves at the exact same position again, where, once again, we say it again, everyone likes to get bearish at support. I get it. Stock markets are dumping through support. Bitcoin's going to follow stock markets. Ethereum's going to follow stock markets. But that's the case, right? So until this green box breaks, like, significantly, we're just kind of where we've been multiple times, right? Now, if Ethereum does get a smash through this green box, all right, I think at that point, you look down, you look at some of these moves. I mean, you really went straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, with not a lot of resistance or support in this general area, right? So I don't see this what's going to hold it back is if ETH does dump through this green box. If it does, right? Hasn't done it yet. If it does, then could we see that move all the way back to 1K? I don't think that's terribly unrealistic. But let's wait for support to break, and let's not get too bearish at support, which we've done 1, 2, 3 times in the past, and it's gone the other way, right? So, I mean, really, you look at Ethereum, guys. Let's just look at it realistically. It's the same deal as Bitcoin, right? Down, up to the highs, 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 down. If you're going to play the range, once again, now's the time where I'm looking for a long, not for a short. Because the trend has been down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, literally. Is it going to come back up again? We'll see. I mean, you guys might argue that the stock markets are in a critical position. I get that, right? I get that, but that's sort of how I'm looking for ETH, man. Let's see. Let's see. Cancel Jordan. I like the morning stream. Yeah, I mean, the morning stream's cool. The morning stream's cool. I like the morning stream, but if I'm going to do one, it would be the afternoon one. Because that's the one I've always done, right? The afternoon one is the staple. But I'm not canceling it. I'm not canceling the morning one yet. I'm not canceling it yet, all right? Let's see how the next, let's see at least how like the next week goes, all right? Bitcoin right now did spike down to about 18.8 and is trying to come back up. So it's trying to hold this support where it's held a couple different times. Will it continue to hold? Obviously, we'll continue to watch it. Let's look at some of these stock markets here. Let's go to like the 1 hour time frame on the S&P. So the S&P is looking a little PP, if you know what I mean. Looking a little PP. I don't even know what that means, so just ignore me here. But yeah, here's the S&P. S&P has made fresh new lows on, yeah. So the S&P, if you look at some of these shorter term time frames, the S&P has made fresh new local lows as of this hourly candle. The question is, how many times have we seen these deviations and it come back up, right? We saw this low, we made a lower low, and we were able to bounce back up. Now we're seeing this low and this low. I mean, you look at some of these, I mean, you do have slight bullish divergence here, right? Slight lower lows. Actually, no, you don't. Never mind. You got lower lows on price action, lower lows on the RSI. I was looking at it the wrong way, but you don't have bullish divergence. So never mind. That's usually what I look for in these deviations. Okay, is there bullish div or bearish div? There actually isn't. So this one makes it a little bit more iffy. NASDAQ, fresh new lows. There it is. And obviously the DXY popping back up. I really want to see, right? And it would be awesome if this was weekly. I know this is a little bit selfish of me, okay? But if Bitcoin is going to stay below this 20K level for longer, I would welcome a little fresh stock market capitulation. I would welcome it. Why? Because you guys know my take. I have take profit levels that I don't care if I have to take profits in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I'm willing to wait at this point, based off past history, I'm willing to wait at least 2 to 3 years, at least, for my targets to get hit. Why? Because that's the mentality I invest with, and that's how I know that the crypto market usually works. So for me, if I'm going to be a little bit selfish, I wouldn't mind if Bitcoin went to 14K right now. I wouldn't mind if ETH went to 1K or below, to be fair, because it doesn't matter to me at this point. Just give me fresh prices. It's better than sitting here. And I think everyone can kind of agree at the same point. It's like, I mean, it is what it is. Will it happen? Let's see, right? Like I said, guys, I'm not going to get too bearish until Bitcoin does start actually cracking this with some momentum, because it hasn't got any momentum below it yet. I'm not going to say it's definitely going to happen here. We're still at support at the end of the day, right? As always, don't get too bearish at support. But if it does happen at this point, just let it freaking happen, man. Let's see. But Jordan, did you buy ETH at 2K like Clint did? Probably at some point, but not this year. Not this year, man. Not this year. That's for sure. That was only Clint this time. That was Clint this time, man. But yeah, yes. If there's ever a lesson on anything, never buy anything at the bear market resistance band. Okay, don't buy ETH here. Don't buy ETH here. And if ETH does bounce, don't buy ETH at the bear market resistance band unless it's a long-term hold. All right, buy it as far away from the bear market resistance band as you can. Really, yeah. 2K, no. 1700, no. Who knows? It'll be an interesting week, though. I'm really waiting for the CPI, because here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. Does anyone think that the CPI is going to be a bullish print? Let me know. Because if it is, I think what we're looking at right now is the market sort of pricing in a bearish CPI. And the question is, if it comes out bullish or dovish. I hate saying dovish. It pisses me off. I don't like dovish and hawkish. Okay? Screw the birds, man. I don't like birds. You guys know I don't like birds. A bird literally ate my foot when I was a kid. Okay? That's why I don't like birds. But if it does, what happens? Okay? And at the same point, If it's bearish, what happens? I think this will be interesting. Interesting, man. Daddy Powell going to dump the market Thursday? He might, man. He might. I think we're all waiting for this right now. Let's see. Clint said facts. Clint, what are you saying facts on, man? If you saying if we're gonna dump, let's just do it now. Screw it. Go Birds! Go Birds, man! Go Birds! Let's go, man. I hate birds. Unless you guys are probably talking about the Eagles or the Falcons. You know? Look at Bitcoin retracing that whole move, man. You gotta love BTC, man. I love BTC. I love BTC. Look at BTC retracing that whole move. For now. Keyword is for now. But, yeah. Comes right back up. Small candles, the hourly chart. But, you know, guys, the thing I look at this chart, and I look up. Are you saying you have 1 foot? I do have 2 feet. I do have 2 feet, Stumbledore. I'm going to be honest, man. I still have 2 feet. It ain't my foot, but not the way you think. It took a couple toenails, my pinky toe, a little bit of foot cheese. But that's it. That's it. I still got my foot. You know what I'm saying?
Saying you have 1 foot.
Let's see. You say that's so bad? Hawkish dovish, we were just going to sideways to the end of the day? Probably true. It's probably true. He has crow's foot. Cooper Rush is legit. That's why I think. And that Dallas D is a big D. It's a big D. Oh, Lord. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. So, what was I saying before, guys? What was I saying before? I forget. I forget. Cut it out. We'll see on Sunday. True. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got looking at here, man. But overall, it's the same deal, bro. It's the same deal. And from the bearish perspective, I get the bearish perspective, guys. And I'm going to say the same thing we've been saying. Okay? Overlay the 2 previous bear markets. Bitcoin is exactly where it should be. And according to the 2 previous bear markets, Bitcoin should see a move back down to at least 14K based off the 2 previous bear markets. And if we look at it time frame wise, Bitcoin loves the power of 75s. Why does it love the power of 75s? Well, from bottom to halving and then halving to top, it always takes around 75 weeks. I don't know why, but it loves 75, right? 1 is awesome. 2 is a coincidence. 3 is a trend. 4 is a indicator. Okay? At least to me. That's the way I look at it. And 4 times in a row, from bottom to halving to top, bottom to halving to top, it's been 75 weeks 4 times in a row. All right? It's just so, it's weird. It's very, very weird. And, you know, if we were to take that same thing, which this matches up exactly with Bitcoin having 1 more low. Listen, I'm just giving the bearish case here. That matches up with Bitcoin having 1 more low within the next couple weeks. Because if we look, when does that 75 weeks come in? That 75 weeks comes in the week of October 24th, which is in 2 weeks. So it all does kind of match up when you look at it. And it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. We'll see if this happens. That's obviously the bearish case scenario. Nothing's going to be apples to apples, oranges to oranges, pears to pears. But we look at the data that we have, right? So the power of the 75. We'll see if the power of the 75 works. I mean, sometimes it's obviously 78, 76, 75, 77. But right around 75. That seems to be the case, man. So let's see. I mean, everything's pointing to the end of October being sort of the the give point where, you know, are you going to see those new lows or is it going to kind of break the trend, you know? Let's see. What kind of man is named Dakota? Dakota? Yeah, that's not really a girl or a guy name. Dakota? I would say it's more of a girl name, right? Dakota? I would say. Definitely more of a girl name, in my personal opinion. In my personal opinion. And the other thing that's pointing to a move by the end of October, guys, like we said, is sort of this chart here, which, you know, we've been talking about multiple times, but just to bring it up again, just to show you like how much this like why everything's pointing to the end of October is also this chart. Where if you look at support resistance, it also says it moved by the end of October. So here we are, sitting, waiting for the spring to spring. And sometimes when the spring doesn't want to spring, it gets tighter. Very, very tight. And I hope this spring is tighter than my mouth when I eat peanut butter because it tastes so freaking good. I hope it either springs to the upside or springs to the downside in a massive way. But all I know is the longer this goes sideways, the bigger the spring is going to be. All right? And I'm ready for the frickin' spring. And if Bitcoin does this, where it comes over here and it just goes sideways again, I think I'll go nuts. Which you guys don't want to see. Okay? I will go nuts. Which you guys are probably like, Jordan, we want to see you go nuts. But you won't see me go nuts. You know? You won't see me go nuts. So just keep that in mind. It's more of a state name. It is more of a state name. Austin, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming a member, Austin. Appreciate that, man. Stumbledore, you're also the absolute stud, bro. Stumbledore always pops in randomly. I love when Stumbledore just comes in randomly, man. That's the best. I have lost all the remaining little respect for Dak now. For Dak, dude, I think Dak's a good quarterback. He gets a little bit too much hate. Is he great in the playoffs? No. And I'm a big believer in football that there's a big difference between regular season football and playoff football. That's why I think Aaron Rodgers is overrated, man. Yeah, he's awesome in the playoffs. Awesome in the regular season. He hasn't done shit in the playoffs, man. For someone as good as him, only have one Super Bowl, only make one, only make one, not even win, only make one. No, man. We ain't gonna do that, bro. We ain't gonna do that. When it comes to football, playoffs is the way to look at people, in my personal opinion. Take it for what it is. I think in any sport, when it really matters, that's when you look at players, man. Who else is waiting until November 28th to buy at the bottom? November 28th? That's far away, man. That's really, really far away. Random fandom. Anyways, guys, 1020. Looking at here, 1020. All right, Bitcoin is retracing a little bit. Let's go back and check some of these stock markets. The NASDAQ getting crushed to the downside right now. Look at the NASDAQ, guys. NASDAQ bound back down to 1032. I mean, if we zoom out on some of these stock markets, man, let's look. So the NASDAQ, I mean, dude, the level that I'm really looking for the NASDAQ, like if it's going to break down here, the level to watch for the NASDAQ to me is about 9,800, which is basically the February 2020 highs right before the March of 2020 crash. That's the big level I'm looking to hold, which right now would be approximately about a 5% drop, give or take a few percentage points there on the NASDAQ. So is the NASDAQ going to come all the way back down here to 9,600? That's the question we're all waiting for. And for the S&P, let's look at it on this chart, actually. For the S&P, if it can't hold this 200-week moving average this week, let's watch for the close, right? We haven't had the weekly close, so let's chill out for a little bit. I think the level to watch on the S&P is really back down in this region right here. Right back in this region right here, where you have also the February 2020 highs, and you got this yellow vector candle on the weekly that's still sitting right there, nice and juicy, right? So somewhere in this region, I mean, you could even extend it down like this, but somewhere in this, you could argue in this general region, I would say. Basically, this previous support in this yellow vector candle on the weekly, that looks juicy. Which for the S&P, if this breaks down this week, if it does, that's would be around an 8% move for the S&P. So yeah, I think this is the big thing to watch this week, as it's been forever. And what would be good about that, aka good, is if this did spike down this week, like hard, which, like I said, guys, I would prefer, if we're gonna do it, let's just do it now, and let's do it with some volatility, so we can see the wicks. Or is that the wicks? The VIX, not the wicks, man. But it actually makes sense, the wicks. We can see the VIX spike up, which is marked bottoms in the past. And then we can actually start looking at some longer term bottoms, like I said, instead of short little pussy bottoms, local bottoms, So this is kind of what we're watching, man. This is kind of what we're watching. So we'll continue to watch this go into this week. Bitcoin looks like it is holding that low for now. Did get a wick down to about 18.8, but then popped back up a little bit. Sitting back at 19K. I'm so sick of seeing 19K, man. Give me something else. Give me 18K. Give me 20K. But holy moly, no more 19K, man. No more 19K. All right. Anyways, guys, I'm going to call it a stream here. I think it pretty much touched on everything I want to talk about today. You guys are still weird for liking Cheetos over Cheez-Its, by the way. Cheez-Its are the best cheese snack by far, way better than Cheetos. Cheetos are okay. I'll give it to you, but I don't like Cheetos anymore. Why? Because the Cheeto resistance did not break up here, okay? And that's why I don't like Cheetos. So I have a slight sour taste in my mouth from Cheetos. Anyways, guys, see you at 7 o'clock. Don't do anything, don't pay us like crypto. Most of all, don't pay us like crypto. And don't be afraid to take profits in the bear market rallies until proven otherwise. All right, guys. Catch you guys at 7. All right? Peace out. Peace.